Hello, folks. Welcome back again to another geopolitical conversation. This has been an incredible period in the continent of Africa. The recent transition and the communications from Senegal to Chad to the country of France has sent the message pretty clear that the geopolitical environment is shifting so fast. Why am I saying this? Since the president of France came to power, apart from the events that happened in the Sahel region, this has been the most challenging period in the country of France's geopolitical engagement with the continent of Africa. First, you have Chad asking France's troops and also ending the bilateral cooperation to review that aspect. Secondly, you have the country of Senegal that came up pretty clear to question the reason what French's troops are doing in the country of Senegal. And thirdly, the French minister had a vote of no confidence and decided to resign. And the President Emmanuel Macron of France came under enormous pressure. Listen, folks, the French's empire is collapsing in the continent of Africa. And this is the problem. Other experts will come on TV and talk about what's going on in the Sahel and France's relationship in Africa. It is important. I think these geopolitical analysts have no clue on France's relationship with a number of countries in the continent of Africa that has been based on lack of investment, benign neglect, exploitation, interference, lack of unequal partnership, and the cultural engagement hasn't been there, and France hasn't paid attention, considering billions of euros that have been invested into the French treasury. These countries have decided to come out clear and review the relationship and said, now is not the moment to talk about the past, and we want to focus on the future, and which is a good thing.
When elected president in March, Bassirou Diomaye Faye promised to restore Senegal's sovereignty. As part of that, Faye told France 2 on Thursday that France will have to close its military bases in Senegal.
As French people, could you imagine seeing us in your country with tanks or military vehicles, with Senegalese soldiers in Senegalese uniforms? That's what history has been like. France has enslaved, colonized, and remained.
The president of Senegal did not hide his emotions. He came out clear. That's why countries like Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, Guinea, and all of these other countries, including even Gabon, are looking for new partners. More importantly, Chad, they are looking for new partners to engage.
In his statements, President Mahamat Deby explained that the pact no longer met Chad's current security and geopolitical needs. He noted that the agreement had failed to provide substantial military value to the country amid challenges such as terrorist attacks.
Over time, this agreement has become outdated, completely outdated. It no longer aligns with the current geopolitical realities, the strategies of our era, or our legitimate expectations for the full expression of our sovereignty.
I think one thing that's important now we should be considering these African leaders are doing is that they are beginning to make their position clear. This is what I've been talking about. If you come out and make your position clear to your geopolitical partners, they know where you stand. Senegal, go back to the Tchad massacre. France at the time, the former leaders refused to acknowledge what actually happened. But again, kudos to the current president who came out strong and talked about this particular aspect and accepted responsibility. This is what Africans have been asking about. So I think there's going to be a huge compensation in that aspect or some kind of bilateral negotiation there. It is important.
Faye also welcomed Macron's overture regarding the recognition of the killing of Senegalese riflemen by French soldiers 8 decades ago.
Today I received a letter from President Macron in which he acknowledges that it was indeed a massacre. This step of acknowledging the massacre should open the door to perfect collaboration in revealing the whole truth.
In 1944, Senegalese riflemen who had fought to liberate France in World War II mutinied over poor conditions and lack of payment. French soldiers opened fire, killing dozens. A commemoration ceremony is scheduled for Sunday in Senegal. Macron has apologized for being unable to attend due to a scheduling conflict.
Senegal is one of those nations in West Africa that I would consider to be very stable, apart from the most recent Macky Sall engagement with the political issue that happened, although that was quashed. However, when the two leaders came to power, Sonko and Bassirou Diomaye Faye, they were clear on their engagement with their relationship with France, that we do not see the reason what French's troops are doing in the continent of Africa. The message was clear. I don't see why geopolitical analysts should go on TV and really doubt where these countries stand. If we all know where we stand in the geopolitical environment, the relationship will continue to go. And Senegal has sent a strong signal to France that we really want to work together, but we want to work together on the terms that favors you and myself. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Senegal, it's the nation that has involved more recently. Remember, Senegal came under enormous pressure from Ecowas countries, especially from Nigeria, to engage the Sahelian nations. They have decided they want to charter a new part in their history. And the president of Senegal has been involved in a number of shuttle diplomacy in Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, to try to engage those different partners. However, I'm pretty sure that a number of conversations are going on in that region. And these countries have decided that they want to diversify their partnership. Senegal is a critical member of the Ecowas. And if Senegal cannot pull it off, I think there is a problem. Now, Senegal asking France's troops to leave the territory, it's a good thing for France itself and for the Senegalese nation. Why I'm saying this? It gives these countries an opportunity to start reviewing their partnership and relationship. It gives them freedom. It gives them some aspect of sovereignty with regards to their engagement with the global community. It's important for these countries to point out where they feel the pinch.
The French military presence in Chad is not based on a reciprocal foundation. Chad must no longer accept from others what they don't accept for themselves. This is the sacred principle of reciprocity, the need for correction. It is now crucial for Chad to address the shortcomings in its international relations.
In the past, I would say that, okay, this has come a long way from colonialism to the Tuareg massacre to France's engagement. Don't forget, Senegal is one of the most democratic countries in West Africa. Take Ghana away. This is important. Senegal has never had a military coup, and they have put things together so far until now. I think it's a good thing that France should be working. There should be some level of competition, and that's what's important. There's never been a level of competition, and France has never been engaged in a competitive manner in West Africa. I think this is the first time that France is feeling the heat in a good way. I don't think anything is wrong with Senegal saying that I want to move on. I don't want your troops here. Like the president asked, how is it going to look like that Senegal's troops are stationed in France? That's a big question. I understand that these countries gained independence from France, and there was some element of engagement to, if at all they've gained independence, working with France, making sure that they held down their institutions, develop their infrastructure. But that hasn't happened in a number of countries in this region. These countries have come of age. They are looking at other countries around the world and moving technologically. They are advancing the academic situation, the economic infrastructure, development, growth, social development is moving. And for a country you consider to be a partner in all aspects of collaboration, the relationship is not going in a fruitful way.
The announcement comes just days after Special Envoy to Africa Jean-Marie Bockel submitted a report on the reconfiguration of France's military presence on the continent. France planned to reduce its military presence in Africa, but not eliminate it, with soldiers in Senegal, the Ivory Coast, Gabon, and Chad. Nonetheless, Faye said he is not seeking to break all ties with France.
Just look at recently the Chinese have come to the continent to engage African nations. It has proven to be a win-win situation, irrespective of your position you have about the Chinese. They have demonstrated that they are in for business. It's better for someone to tell you, I am here for business. I am here to make money and you make money. I will invest. You give me the money. I deliver on the project. Let's have a clear conversation. Let's have a transparent motives. China has made it clear that I am here to make money, to invest here and do business. That's what Africans need. Africans don't need conversation surround just all around democracy. Democracy is important. However, you need to look at the perspective on how the democracy fits into those society. And the Chinese have a model that so far is working. Going back to the decision that Senegal said France's troops should leave. They should leave. And if France goes back to the drawing board and re-strategize to re-engage Africa with the Chinese on the ground, with the Americans on the ground, and the Russians on the ground, and the Middle Eastern partners, it will give African countries some leverage. This is important. This is how geopolitics work. Senegal is an important country in the Sahel region. I think these countries are looking at what are the benefits of staying with France in this long-term partnership. What are the benefits? I just wanted to say that it's important to highlight because over the years, France has refused to acknowledge what they just acknowledged recently. France is facing huge challenges with regards to the relationship with the country of Rwanda, which has stabilized to an extent under the President Macron, who has accepted some activities that happened in that country, looking at 1994 France's role. These things go a long way to kind of let your other geopolitical partner to understand that you acknowledge these things and we're going to move on. It doesn't mean that these countries will forget, but we can move on as partners, as collaborators, and we see how we can get to a win-win partnership. But if France was saying that no, nothing happened, there was no terrorist massacre, there was nothing that happened, then you are straining the relationship. I think that with Senegal coming really strong, defining its position, Senegal has matured. Senegal has matured. They made it clear. Look at the next 5 to 10 years relationship between France and the country of Senegal. It will be on a win-win partnership and collaboration and honest relationship. This is important. African nations have made tremendous win in the past 3 to 4 years. This is important. They needed this to regain or revitalize their sovereignty. And kudos to the leaders in Senegal for speaking out their mind or how the Senegalese people feel or think. Don't forget, in the past, it's been that the previous leaders of those nations failed to take the opinion of the citizens and the nationals into the context of what they think and how they want the countries to move forward. They've always relied their decision-making process from their colonial aspect. This is something that's not going to work. Africa has transformed to an extent where the leaders now beginning to understand that by just leaving your country and coming to France and talking about other issues or conflict-related particular problems in the region, it's not going to solve the problem. By sitting there and talking to that issues with your people and your community and the regional bodies, that makes sense. France has its own challenges. Listen, I do not have any issues with regards to France as a nation, but the problem I have with France, it's African policy. It should be that of equal partnership, collaboration. The Chinese have proven, and the Americans to an extent, the European Union, on how these partnerships should work in the 21st century. Hopefully, France can take the message from Chad and Senegal and the event that happened in Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, that moving in 2025, it won't be business as usual, that France should come prepared with its economic plan, with its strategic plan, with its social plan, with its investment plan to engage Senegal in the future and other partners across the region. We want to thank you for watching. Let me know what you think if African presidents should come out clear and state their position on where they stand, and if this is the way to go and how this can help African countries. We are looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Have a good day. Bye-bye.